Welcome, Kevin. You and your team in International Climate Change Partnership have done an amazing job in finding the technological solution to the ozone layer depletion problem. You also did an extraordinary work to work with the governments to make sure that you reach the time-targeted goals. And this has been very exemplary. Why do you think it is not happening in case of climate change?
Well, I think in our case, in the situation of the fluorocarbon technologies, it is happening. I think there's still a very solid management approach to that. The government policies are much more complicated. We're dealing with a much broader spectrum of industry. So from that standpoint, there are complications. But from the standpoint of the lessons learned from the Montreal Protocol, I think that the industries have shown once again that they're willing to find solutions and find appropriate ways to manage their way towards not only protecting the ozone layer, but now protecting the climate.
But we are not seeing those time-targeted goals agreed in terms of certain chemicals which you mentioned, like fluorochemicals.
I think those discussions have just started, and as you know, there is a proposal on the table that the U.S. has put in to consider the HFC policy issues as well as the technology issues. And that discussion is relatively new. It's just started to happen in the last 6 months or so. I'm confident that based on the work here and based on the work in Copenhagen and beyond that the fluorocarbon industries will come up with acceptable schedules and also will find a way to, again, manage their way towards technology solutions.
When you talk about these technology solutions, which will be required in ozone layer depletion as well as in climate change, do you think it can move fast? Because today we see that alternatives to HCFCs are mostly HFC based. So this would require a tremendous amount of technology development to make sure that we find a non-HFC technologies. What is your view on this?
Well, I think a lot of that is happening now, but it happens at different pace depending on the technology. And so, for example, there are some known substitutes today that industry is working now to start implementing. There are some others, critical ones, where energy efficiency is also a big concern, where that technology discussion is going to take a little bit longer. And the trick and the key from the standpoint of the policy standpoint that we've succeeded at under Montreal is to make sure that we manage both the environmental goals as well as the economic and technology goals. And that is key to our success.
That's quite an extraordinary achievement if at all we can do that. We did that in the Montreal Protocol, that's good. Another issue here in this particular meeting in Port Gully has been the destruction of ozone depleting substances which are lying all over the world in the equipment which we call as banks. Frankly speaking, those were produced by the chemical industry. And looking from the product liability point of view, don't you think industry has a responsibility to take care of them in a very responsible way and take a leadership and stewardship role to make sure that they are not emitted well and they are taken care by way of management and destruction?
I think that the industry is taking a stewardship role. I think that the policy discussions are underway. As you know, the CFC materials out in the marketplace aren't really covered by the treaty. And so now it requires a new examination of what is that appropriate policy role, as well as the industry finding the best ways of recovering the materials, safely destroying them, and then also monitoring them. There's a big environmental benefit for capturing those materials. But a lot of those materials are still working in place, either as refrigerant fluids and chillers around the world. In the US alone, there are 30,000 chillers still running on CFCs, or in building insulation or in insulation in appliances. And so we want to be careful that when we do this, we do it properly, destroy them appropriately, but at the same time not do something to cause greater energy consumption because you lost the material too soon. And so again, there's an important effort there to manage it as a policy standpoint and a technology standpoint. And I believe the industries around the world are working to address that. One of the challenges is that the materials are out there in the marketplace, and so they're not controlled by the chemical industry anymore. They're owned by individual entities, building owners, factories, homeowners, and so there's a real challenge in how you create a policy process that helps incentivize the recapture and ultimately the destruction of those materials. But we think that we'll get to an effective solution that will also be climate protective.
Tell me, Kevin, lastly, This particular exercise is going to require billions of dollars. And you are a great proponent of do something which is doable, which is practical. Do you think that such kind of massive exercise which involves billions of dollars is doable?
I think it's happening every day. I think that as part of technology innovation, from the fluorocarbon technology standpoint, I think the industries are investing billions of dollars. And the trick is to make sure you're providing the technologies that provide the health benefits, the safety benefits, as well as the functionality of the products that are so critical to health and safety around the world, whether it's refrigeration or air conditioning, and do it in a way that's also energy efficient so that we can reduce fossil fuel consumption for greenhouse gas emissions. And so the industries have been investing billions of dollars, have done so over the last 3 decades, and are continuing to do so because they recognize the challenge and they said, we're here to help. And so I think they'll continue to do so.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
And I look forward to your cooperation to benefit developing countries. Thank you very much.
Yes, sir. Thank you.